to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay.
And welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay. My name is host Mike Jokum. Jess and Matt are joining me as we have plenty to discuss from the last week and a half or so. This week, again, brought to you by gripmat.com, the world's first flexible non-slip tool mat that makes for a great gift for the person who loves working on their car. Use promo code PLPTV for 10% off your order. On a somber note, before we get going here, just want to wish Ryan Newman a quick and speedy recovery from his Daytona 500 injuries. As of recording on Tuesday evening, he was awake and talking to doctors and his family, so that's amazing to see. But I hope he recovers quick. Seems like a standout guy, and any driver who supports any sort of animal charities is up on my list of drivers to support. So hope he recovers quick from whatever the injuries are. It was definitely scary to see.
Yeah, and having watched racing for a long time, that was one of the worst crashes I've ever seen live. I think, given the impact to the wall and then sliding on his roof and then getting hit again, is pretty much kind of worst case scenario in the NASCAR world. So the fact that he was, awake and talking with family as of today, Tuesday, I think was phenomenal news. And I think I echo everybody's sentiments that we were all really relieved when, we got the news last night, Monday night, that he was in serious but stable condition, because, we all assumed the worst. So just wishing Ryan the best in a quick recovery.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, after seeing that and seeing the difficulty they had getting him out of the car and everything else, it was extremely good news to get that he basically, in the long run, is probably going to be mostly okay. Obviously, we don't know his injuries at this point in time, but I mean, it's kind of a miracle that he was able to be extracted from that car in one piece. So definitely wishing him well, and hopefully he recovers quickly, and hopefully he can race again someday.
Yeah, well said. So with that, we will move on, starting with the Circuit of the Americas open test from last week. Just a quick recap of the top five would be Will Power, Alex Rossi, Scott McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden, and Colton Herta. So guys, any surprises, disappointments? I don't know where you want to start with that, but I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, McLaughlin doing as well as he did was, I don't know if it's necessarily surprising, but it was really good to see. I guess the only disappointment I have, honestly, is in the weather, so they didn't get more time, because that would have been nice to see. But yeah, God, it just made me that much more pumped for this season. For
me, my biggest surprise was Alex Palou. P9 with what I've been predicting as a decimated coin team. I think that's really impressive. I mean, he's been in the car 2 or 3 times, and to go out there and throw up the 9th best lap in a really stacked field, I think that's a really good reflection on him so far. And he's been saying a lot of the right things. He did the oval test of Texas as well and was very psyched about that. So far he's passing the face value test. On the other side, in a black and white world, I know we're talking about testing, but third to last, Connor Daly, I wonder if they were trying some setups or doing something outside the box. I hope that's the case, because not the greatest start from him, but, obviously, again, just a test, not panic button territory by any means, but I'm curious to see what his pace is like going forward.
So just on my surprise, so I had to quick and scramble and find another answer here. I'm going to go with McLaren. Oliver asked you 7th, how to award 10th. Not just that a rookie was 7th, but both of the guys in the top 10. And I think at some points in testing, they were even higher than that for a while. My disappointment is definitely the weather. I missed all of media day on Monday, and Tuesday there was no track running, and then I had to run back to the airport Tuesday night. So I didn't really get to see anything in person when I was down there. So that was definitely my biggest disappointment of the open test. So we will keep going down the list here. Your favorite current favorite livery that you saw at the test?
I don't know if I should go first since I wrote an article on our website. If anybody didn't check it out, shameless plug. Go ahead and go read that. But mine, if you didn't read it, was Felix Rosenqvist. I think that car is absolutely stunning, / menacing, / beautiful, / terrifying, / elegant. I think it kind of encapsulates everything I would want in a livery, and I love the black. I think it's a home run.
I'm going to go with Alex Palou because that pink is fire to me. I just love it. Pretty much matches my jacket that I'm wearing right now that you guys can't see, but I mean, it just really stands out, especially in the afternoon sunshine.
I'm going to go with Alex Rossi's AutoNation scheme that we will see at 8 races this year, and Napa has the other 9. I forget which is which, but the pink and gray combo looked really, really slick. I know some people said it looked similar to Pelot or Palou, however you say his name. I know we've probably all gotten it wrong at some point this offseason, but yeah, that's definitely my pick for there. So lastly, we will recap who we predicted would struggle and who would do well. Matt had Rinus VeeKay doing well, and Rinus was 18, so not so good there. And Matt said Aero would struggle. Definitely, Matt dropped the ball big time on this prediction. Let's see here. I had Zach Veach doing well, 17th, not so. No. I had Sato struggling, and Takuma was 22nd, so I kind of got that right. And lastly, Jess had Pato doing well, so I think Jess automatically wins because otherwise none of our picks are really that good in this one. She had Ed Carpenter struggling, so not far off there. Yeah, Jess wins. Jess by far wins this round.
I love winning.
It was just a test session.
Doesn't matter. I still won.
It was a test for us too.
It was a test for us too. I hope you weren't testing your kind of luck this year, because if you're going to bring rain to every race or a flight delay, or I should probably go cancel my flight now.
Just please don't, because I'm traveling to all of them with him. So just please don't bring that.
My first flight's in May. If Mike's already jinxed that, then I might as well just cancel all my plans.
I'm nervous now. All right, so we will move into our next topic. We're going to talk just a little bit about Team Penske. So TK and Paul Tracy were discussing during the broadcast who is Scott McLaughlin going to replace if they bring him on full-time next year. TK thinks that it's going to be Pagenaud, while PT thinks it's going to be Power. What do you guys think?
I think that if Roger Penske replaces Will Power, something's not right. I think it would have to be because he had a disastrous 2020, which I just don't see happening. Again, I've sung praises for Power a lot of times on the show, specifically that he's probably one of the most well-rounded drivers in the field when it comes to ovals and road courses. And he's done a lot for Team Penske since he joined in 2009. So, yeah, I think it'd be foolish to replace Power. And obviously, Newgarden's kind of the face of that team, and he's, 27, 28. So he's still got a decade if he wants it, as long as he continues to produce, which, defending champion. So it has to be by default then Simon Pagenaud. And I don't think it's anything that Pagenaud does wrong. I just think he's not producing the results consistently as Power and Newgarden. Obviously, he won Indy last year, but, I think we'll see what he does this year, I guess.
I feel like this one is incredibly tough to predict because, a year after winning the Indy 500, or a year and a half after, Juan Montoya was out of a ride. Castro Neves was out of the ride after a solid last season, full-time season in INDYCAR. And Pagenaud won the Indy 500 last year. So it's almost like no matter what you pick, you feel wrong picking it. But I do agree with Matt. I think it's going to be Pagenaud. I think Will Power has just been so consistent, especially the last 6 to 7 years in terms of finishing position in the championship overall. I don't know how you can replace Power. He's only 35, 36, 37, somewhere around there. I think he's got a lot of life left in him and a lot of consistency left in him.
I'm not going to play by my own rules on this question. I'm going to say they're going to just add another car. I don't, unless Pagenaud has a very bad year this year. If he has a very bad year, okay, I see him being the weakest link there. But I think that if he does well and has a good year, then I'm going to say they're going to add a fourth car for him because, I mean, frankly, it would be like a really, really strong team at that point.
Yeah, I think, Jess, you might be onto something. McLaughlin was super impressive during the test. I know he's a hell of a driver, but still finishing third in the test was amazing to see.
Yeah, and no disrespect to McLaughlin, but there is a certain Kiwi, a fellow Kiwi next season that's going to, as far as I can tell, be out of a contract in Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon may be testing free agency next year. Does that put a wrinkle into Penske's McLaughlin plans, if there is any, for 2021?
I'm going to go with no. I don't think that has any effect on it.
I have to actually agree with you. I don't think it does either. I feel like Penske's looking like long term, and Dixon would probably only be a season or two. So I feel like he's gonna stick with Scott McLaughlin.
God, it makes me wonder though. I think Dixon's only 38 or thereabouts. Is he? Because he's not. I mean, I know he's been racing since 2001 in INDYCAR, but I feel like, if he does either go back to Ganassi, I still feel like he's got maybe 5 to 7 good years left because he's such a beast. So I'm wondering if he does maybe decide to go to Team Penske or something, because that would, I mean, can you imagine Scott Dixon to Team Penske? That would be like the world would stop spinning almost.
Fair point. Scott Dixon will be 40 this summer.
All right. Well, Mario Andretti raced till he was what, like 52 or something? Something thereabout.
Ish.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to retire anytime soon. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's just too good. Definitely some food for thought there. We're going to have to keep an eye on Team Penske this year, obviously under a microscope as always. But if there is someone lurking for a job like Scott McLaughlin, they may need to up their game even more, which is crazy to think. But moving on, we're going to talk about some silly season here. Obviously Jess just discussed Team Penske, how they may look different next season. So we're just going to run down a couple of items here. Ed Carpenter is not expecting to field a fourth car for the Indianapolis 500 for his team. Felipe Nasser and Sergio Seta Camara may be splitting the Carlin 31 car on, well, it sounds like all the tracks, actually. According to Racer, Nasser may end up being in every race except for Richmond. So that's kind of crazy twist that a lot of us didn't see coming. And then Daly may end up being in the Carlin stable for just the ovals, except for the Indy 500, because he does have his Ed Carpenter ride. So could turn out that Daly may contest a full season after all. Max Chilton, despite what we've been hearing, is actually going to be back for the road courses and the Indianapolis 500 in the 59 Carlin car with Gallagher sponsorship. James Hinchcliffe can't drive for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan because of a sponsorship conflict, assuming that has something to do with Total, who's with Rahal, and then Hinch's personal sponsor, Petro Canada. May be the conflict, although it wasn't specifically stated. But there is an announcement tomorrow, Wednesday, that Robin Miller is speculating Hinch is going to drive the Indy 500 entry for Andretti Autosport. So keep an eye on Twitter. Or I'm assuming since you'll be listening to this weekend, it's already been announced. So congrats if it was Andretti to Hinch. And then finally, TK is running a livery that he, quote, won a lot of races in, and says that if he is offered by another team to do road courses, that he may, in fact, race more than just the ovals this year with Foyt. So if another team offers him a ride, he may not say no. Out of everything that was discussed there, what are you guys' biggest takeaways? What's the biggest surprise out of that list?
For me, it would be Max Chilton and Gallagher Insurance, especially because I think 4 times in a row I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Everything I'm hearing says that's not going to happen. So, I mean, I'm happy for Max. He's a good dude, but that was the biggest surprise when the announcement finally came out last week.
Just because he made fun of my my predictions about the test results. Was Carlin at the test session by chance?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just clarifying, because I think there was one of us three said a couple weeks ago that Carlin wasn't going to be on the grid this year. Can't remember who.
I know. I fully own that I got that one wrong.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Jess.
Mine actually is similar. It is going to be Max Chilton, but not in general, because I had a feeling he'd be back, and I kind of said that previously. But my surprise is that he's going to do the 500 after last year and then getting out of ovals entirely. That really shocked me to see that he's going to try to do the 500 again.
Follow-up question. Do you think that's just because it's the Indy 500? Because maybe in his mind, who cares about the winner of Texas? Why would I risk it? Versus, the Indy 500 is such a big deal.
It could be that, but it also very well could be Gallagher said he's got to do the 500 because they want their car in the 500. It would be impossible to know, but there's, I would say, a lot of people on the team and sponsors and whatnot who look at the 500 much differently than they look at some other races.
Fair. I think the one for me that kind of stood out was Tony Kanaan stating that he would do road courses if offered. I believe Paul Tracy asked him on the broadcast at the test, hey, have you run that by Chevy? Like, if the Honda team steps up and says, come race for us, or are you going to say no? And he's like, I don't know, I haven't asked Chevy yet. It's like, okay, this seems kind of well thought out. So, especially with the language he stated, kind of doing his press conference or whatnot, when he said that he was just doing the final 5 ovals, that he said he was wishing he could do more. So I'll be interested to see if it actually happened.
Before we move on, speaking of TK, and I probably should have mentioned this during the open test part, but he was fantastic broadcasting on Wednesday when I was able to watch in my hotel room. So if he has a post-racing career in broadcasting, I hope NBC snatches him up.
Yes, and he used Keyboard Warriors, which is just phenomenal. Props to him. And then as far as the announcements that we just kind of rolled through, Carlin made up a good chunk of what we were discussing. Do we see Felipe Nasser in every every race except Richmond? And do we have any, I know we mentioned Connor Daly as being the oval driver for the 59 car, but if that for some reason falls through, do we have like a backup that may end up in that seat after all?
Feel like it's going to be more of a split seat situation. I don't think it's going to be Nasser for all but one, but I could be wrong. I guess it depends on financial situations, who's bringing what, which I have no idea what that would look like. And then as far as the ovals, man, that's such a difficult question. I honestly don't see it being Connor Daly for multiple reasons. So I'm going to say it's not going to be him, but I don't have an idea of who it would be. You come back to me. I might think of one here.
I agree with Jess completely. I think it will be, I don't want to say a 50-50 split in the other car, but I don't think it'll be all but one for Nasser. Just a gut feeling. I know he can't do one of the races because of an IMS complication.
Richmond.
Might be Richmond. Thank you. But I also agree with Jess that it won't be Connor Daly in the oval. Just a gut feeling of that one. Not that my gut feelings have been right so far this offseason. So Connor, if you now get a full season, you're welcome. And a prediction on who it would be if not. I'm struggling like Jess, so I'm just going to throw a name out there, and maybe Zachary Clayman DeMello, or what's his name now, Zachary Clayman, comes out of nowhere and gets funding for a couple of races.
Isn't he karting?
Yes, I have heard that he is in the Superkarts USA series this year.
Yep, he's a shoo-in for that 59. For me, I think that Nasser, I don't know if he's ready for the ovals. I'm pretty sure he wasn't at that Texas test. So that would be props to him if he ends up doing it. And far as Sergio said, Camara, I don't know if the team filled him in on that when he showed up to the test. Like, hey, come to the COTA test. By the way, you might only be in one race this season. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm pretty sure you both are right that it's probably going to be more of a 60-40 split at the very least or something like that. And then for the ovals, yeah, Connor Daly. Connor, if you get that seat, you can thank me for a full-time ride and not Mike, because I'm the one here who's going to actually predict that you get it. So thank me later.
I came up with somebody. I'm going to say Munoz. Carlos Munoz might be a good fit for just the ovals.
I dig it. Actually, that's fantastic. Jess, you win this round as well.
How do you just
we're going to
decide
title
that?
this episode because I can.
I win everything.
You can't win the Joker lap, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I can because I judge it.
She's not wrong, Matt.
Well, okay, no. How many seasons of America's Got Talent has there been in which Simon Cowell has not declared himself the winner? If he can't declare himself the winner, then Jess can't declare herself the winner of the Joker lap.
I've never watched it.
I'm going to tweet him and tell him that he needs to be the winner this season so that I can start winning on my own show.
I bet he'll do that. Mike, it's a great show. It's about Americans going on a stage and showing that they have talent.
They do stuff.
I am glad I don't watch it. Moving on. Quick shout out to all of our Team Pit Lane members. And this week we will give a special shout out to Carrie Chim, Colin Taylor, and last but not least, our pal, the doctor, Matthew Grunholtz.
All right, guys. So tonight's Joker Lap is brought to you by Craft 1861. For all your health and wellness needs, head to craft1861.com and use promo code PLP40 to save 40% off. So we talked a little bit about what Penske is going to look like next year. You guys are going to come up with your Penske dream team here. This is like the ultimate. If you could pick out of the active drivers, and I don't care if they're only active for one race, but current active drivers, who would you put on a team? I don't care, 3 cars, 4 cars. You kind of make up your own rules here. I don't get too crazy. This isn't going to be another Andretti, like 7-car team. So don't go too crazy, but let's see what you got.
I'll stick to 3 cars, what they have now. So then I would do Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, Joseph Newgarden, with Fernando Alonso running at the Indy 500 as a 4th car. Because, I can't not have Fred on my team.
All right.
Well done. I'm going to go with a little bit of youth in Santino Ferrucci, Joseph Newgarden, and Will Power, with Elio running the 500 until he is 60 years old.
Did you say till he's 60?
Yes.
You're going to take Santino Ferrucci over Rossi and Dixon.
I'm just trying to pick guys that you not necessarily.
Fair enough. Okay, let's say you had gone first. Who would you have said?
Oh, I was definitely going to go with Rossi, but you kind of took that one from me. So I wanted to be a little different in my choice.
That's fair.
Okay, so I'm definitely taking Rossi. And I think I'm gonna stick with Power. I really like Power. I think he's got a lot to add. That 3rd seat is kind of difficult. I definitely don't want Dixon. I don't know. I don't think I would put Newgarden in it either, to be honest. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me think of somebody like totally off the wall, because it's just not right if it's not totally off the wall, right?
Felipe Massa.
Oh.
I don't believe he counts as active. Oh, you know what? This one's kind of off the wall, but I think given the right chance, he would do really well. I'm going to say with Jack Harvey.
All right. I like it.
Oh, shoot. I forgot 4th Indy 500 car, didn't I? Yeah. Tony Kanaan. That'd be fun.
All right. Well, I think I win this round.
That's not for you to decide. This isn't Mike's segment.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to go with Matt on this one.
I can't wait. We got Stump the Host next. I might as well just say I'm the winner now. Is that how this works? How about I
What
ask
is
the,
that?
How about I
I
ask
didn't
the
pick myself.
I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to answer it before both of you. Is that how this works?
I mean, okay.
No. All right. Compared to my usual antics, this one actually only has one correct answer. So we'll go ladies first and allow Jess to answer first on this one. You know, obviously, we're glad that Ryan Newman's okay. And so kind of a footnote in the race is that the Daytona 500 was the second closest finish in Daytona 500 history. Got me thinking about the Indianapolis 500 and the closest finish we've ever seen. Name the year and the two drivers.
Oh, God. It's Marco and I don't know. He's already shaking his head. I don't know.
That would be number 3.
Marco and Sam Hornish Jr. Was in the top 5. I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't know you just gave the answer. I didn't listen, though. Number 3. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. One of Ari Leyendijk's wins.
No, neither of them were a photo finish.
Okay, you win.
Well, no, I was kidding. I don't want to actually win. There's hints.
So does that mean I won because I was closer?
There's hints. Yeah, I mean, at least Jess's was an actual photo finish. Hint number 1 is the guy who finished second was a former ABC commentator.
Scott Goodyear, but I don't know who the winner was.
Okay, what's hint number 2?
The guy who won is a famous racing last name.
Oh, that helps.
Voigt?
No.
I did know that was wrong, by the way. I just wanted to see the look on your face.
Show of hands at home if you know this and they don't. Let me see your hands in the air. Anybody, Bueller? We were looking for Al Unser Jr. and Scott Goodyear, 1992.
I knew that.
You just don't know what Indy means.
Okay.
The looks on your guys' faces. Oh, boy. Who's hosting trivia night next year?
Me.
Okay.
You're welcome. You better catch up on your really obscure stuff.
I do.
That's what I'm into.
I do not know how many cubic whatever measurement it uses of helium
How
was
many ice
used
cubes fit on this track surface?
I do not know how much helium was used in the very first race around Indianapolis. I bet that's somewhere.
Did you say helium?
Yeah, for those hot air
Yeah,
balloons.
none.
Well, they don't use helium, do they?
No.
I'm just thinking
They
of a
would
normal balloon.
literally burst into flames if they used helium.
Yeah, that would not be good. No, I don't know how much normal air they use, though. I bet that'll be a question. Is that somewhere on Google?
How much fire did they use to go?
I bet that's on Google somewhere.
We are definitely cutting that piece of the episode and putting it as a soundboard button. When the next time you make fun of me, I'm just going to play that.
Sounds about right.
Oh, God.
Hey, at least I'll get something on the soundboard. Now we just need something for you.
Well, yeah. Anyway, let's continue on.
All right. So we are going to talk just a smidge about the aeroscreens again. We've talked about them several times before, so we're going to talk about them again. So I think this was at the test. Max Chilton mentioned that they may run some races without the screen, but Jay Fry said that is not the plan. Prior to the test, Connor Daly, via Nathan Brown at the IndyStar, said he's not a huge fan of it, but obviously I'm a fan of IndyCar racing, so I'm still going to go racing out there. But the only people that have done the testing like it, so they're not going to say bad things about it. Carpenter is worried about the screen's visibility toward the end of his stint, specifically on ovals. That has to do with the tear off. What do you guys think after seeing the test, after listening to everybody talk about it after the test and seeing what happened? What do you guys think?
I'm glad Jay Fry came out quickly and kind of said, no, Max, that's not accurate, because the internet did go kind of wild after Max said that, I think on media day while I was stuck in an airport. But Connor Daly, I mean, that's fine. If you're not a fan, not everybody has to like it, but he's still going to go out there and racing. So, and maybe he'll grow to like it, like a lot of people, a lot of fans have already. I know once you see that aeroscreen incorporated in a livery, it looks really, really nice. I don't have any issue with the looks of it, just going off of that. And obviously the safety seems much, much improved. Ed Carpenter's worries about screen visibility towards the end of a stint, specifically on ovals, I get it. I guess the only way they can really fix that at this point is whatever Indianapolis test they do before the month of May. I'm sure they'll do something late April, early May. So I guess we'll find out about that one. But from what I saw that the driver said, I didn't have any issue with it. And I think it performed pretty well, especially it did get a little bit of rain action. And the only complaint was some of the water was dripping back inside on the drivers from the top edge of the aeroscreen, but that visibility in the rain was perfectly fine. So I'm very happy with what I saw so far.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure after the test, I didn't see a single driver come out and have any sort of complaints or anything along those lines.
The only thing that was said was Will Power saying, yeah, some rain came in or some water droplets came in from the top edge of the aeroscreen, but he didn't seem all that concerned about it.
Okay, yeah. So I think all in all, given what Jay Fry and company had to work with for the last couple of months to test it several times before this official test, and to basically get to the point where we haven't really heard that many negative comments, is fantastic. It was good to see more than 2 aero screens out there, and like what we saw on Facebook being reported. So that was nice. But it was really cool to see this aero screens on the cars, and with, like Mike said, with the liveries, they incorporated them super well, in my opinion. And I think that they've come a long ways. And with Carpenter's kind of worry, I know he specifically mentioned Iowa. Maybe one of those things where may have to send 5 or 6 cars to Iowa and just kind of see what it's like. But I'm not particularly worried about it. And all in all, I tip my cap to Jay Fry and company, because I think the execution has been spot on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, after seeing some of the views from the in-car cameras, I was really impressed with how well you could see. I think there was one car, and I honestly don't remember who it was, had some kind of, I'm going to say, look like a glare, and that comes from the tear-offs. If they aren't put on exactly perfect, they get this kind of weird shimmery look almost. So I could see where Ed Carpenter might have a point about that. If the tear-offs aren't perfect, there could be a little bit of visibility issues, but I would think that would be pretty easy to know beforehand. I mean, you can, get in your car in the garage and notice if there's an issue. And the only other thing I would see again would be with the tear-offs, if maybe there was an air bubble in between the layers that can be a little, I guess, distracting more than anything else. But I thought all in all that it looked fantastic and they did an excellent job. Was glad to see them in action for sure, and glad to hear that the drivers, for the most part, are pretty happy with them.
I agree. So we will move on to the last bit of news and discussion before the pitfalls. The first Roger Penske IMS upgrade announcement with Roger Penske, Mark Miles, and Doug Bowles. A quick recap before we get to our opinions on it. There will be no guaranteed entries, so everybody can breathe a deep sigh of relief. The Indy 500 purse is going up $2 million to a $15 million total. Probably one of the bigger changes are what I'm about to say is the last row shootout is no longer just one attempt for each driver. It'll be a 75-minute session where everybody is guaranteed at least one attempt, but can make more attempts if there's time left. Qualifying horsepower will be increased by 45 horsepower, and then 2 more to go. I'm going to save the best one for last if I was Jake Neely. More IMS sponsors this year and more NBC broadcast coverage. So there's a big rundown. The media center has a naming rights now and a bunch of other sponsors. I think Dex Imaging was the media center one, and Verizon is the 5G coverage at the track now. So, and last but not least, there will be new and improved troughs in the men's bathroom, and all 126 bathrooms have been repainted. So, Jake, I hope you breathing a deep sigh of relief. Your troughs are here to stay. So with that being said, guys, reactions, good start to the Penske era. Anything you're not too thrilled about?
Yeah, I mean, no guaranteed entries is phenomenal, but I think we have to take a step back. I mean, there's the no guaranteed entries. Purse going up is only positive. I know Robert Miller's been clamoring for that for a while. Last row shootout, not just getting them to one attempt, I think is phenomenal. I think giving them a chance to go out again, like let's say a Max Chilton last year, where he could have just taken all the rear wing out of it and just tried just to make it in. More horsepower, probably just going to offset the weight of the aeroscreen, so we'll see what that's like. New sponsors, never a good thing, or never a bad thing. But, you get all these rundowns. I don't know, kind of all pales in comparison to the new troughs. That's obviously the best thing that was announced because Jake Neely's happy. Our buddy George is happy. A couple others who had the hashtag save the troughs. I hope that hill was worth dying on because, that's obviously the best part of the whole announcement, right?
I mean, I'm actually really disappointed that I don't get a new trough. Maybe I'll get a new toilet. Anywho, yeah, no, can't. I mean, there's really nothing to complain about on here at all. They're building cell towers. Cell service should be better if you've been there, especially on the 100th running. Cell service was touch and go. The new troughs, yay, rah. I'm excited. What I'm actually, I think, kind of came out the day before. Penske pretty much told everybody that he didn't care what the weather was like and that he was going to get all of his improvements done before May. And that's huge because I believe that the day before this announcement, it was a whopping 15 degrees here, and overnight it got down to like 4. So the fact that he has that kind of work ethic and is going to do what it takes to get it done is I think bigger than any of the announcements to me. I think that it just shows that he is making this, his number one project.
Yeah. Great start for Roger Penske and IndyCar. If I'm going to pick one, I know I did like the last row shootout as just a single attempt, but kind of looking back on it and the 75-minute session now, I think is going to add a whole nother layer of drama with however many cars we have potentially being bumped. And then more NBC broadcasts is fantastic. Anytime we can get anything more on TV is going to be great for the entire IndyCar series. So with that being said, we will jump right into the pitfalls here, sponsored by our friends at Corsa Brew Coffee, tailored to the motorsports world that captures the essence of speed, power, and adrenaline. If you go to their website, corsabrew.com, use promo code PLP20 for 10% off your order.
And now it's time for Pit Lane Parlay's Pitfalls of the Week.
Okay, so I'm going to do 2. One of them I'm going to keep short and sweet, and you guys don't really even need to comment on it because I'm sure we'll talk about it again at some point. Just real quick on the Ryan Newman accident, I watched a video from the time that accident started until the time that they actually got him out of the car, and I was rather disappointed in NASCAR's response. I've heard people complaining about them not getting to the car very fast. That actually wasn't that long, just over a minute. And considering that they raced back to the line, a minute isn't that bad. What was bad was it took them an additional 6 minutes to flip the car over. So he was upside down for about 7 minutes. And then it took them an additional, 11 minutes to get him out. So it took him 17 minutes to get him out of the car. That's excessive in my opinion. So without commenting on that, that was just my little point on that. My real pitfall is also NASCAR. NASCAR is thinking about penalizing tracks for not having 70% attendance at their races starting next season. First of all, how is a track going to control how many people actually come? other than giving away free tickets. And at that point, even still, a lot of people won't go. So I just cannot even believe that this is an idea going around in somebody's head. And what track owner is going to want to sign up for this? So just no.
Also, aren't like 3/4 of the tracks owned by NASCAR?
Yeah, so I'm sure those won't be penalized. It'll be the other tracks that are penalized.
So because IMS has 250,000 built-in seats, and if they get, let's say, 65%, that would still be more attendance than a majority of the other tracks, but they would still get punished. I mean, am I the only one that sees the fault in the logic there?
I mean, most of their tracks have already taken out stands, so what else are they supposed to do?
Tell you what, I'd want to be the person or the company in charge of making the banners that they put for over all those seats, because they'd make plenty of money if that was like, oh yeah,
I wonder if that counts, though. I wonder if NASCAR is going to look at that and be like, no, you just covered them up. That doesn't count.
Like, what are you talking about? We covered up 220,000 of our seats. You just have to ignore those. It's fine. Don't fine us.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. This is fine. All right, I'll go next. Mine is about people hating on Marco Andretti for going back to Rob Wilson, who was a driving coach. For those who have a fond memory, Marco Andretti actually went to this coach prior to the 2013 championship. And lo and behold, he finished 5th in the championship that season. So obviously something worked, because that was, in my opinion, by far his best year of his career, 2013. But people have been giving Marco a lot of crap for seeking some additional help and trying to see if he can figure something out to get back to, we'll say, above average form. I honestly don't get the hate. Like I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't hated on Marco once or twice, because I definitely have. And I think the other two on the show are guilty of that here and there. But for me, for a guy who's sitting down and admitting like, hey, I can try to get as much help and input as I can. I'm going to go see this coach that helped me in 2013, see if that can help me boost it up. I don't see the point in hating on that. I applaud him for his efforts. I think it shows a willingness to try and get better. And for him to kind of take a step back, what is it now, 14 years into his career, and say, hey, maybe I do need a coach again this year. I applaud him. So I really hope it leads to good things for him, because I do appreciate that level of awareness, and I do hope to see him succeed. Now I actually am kind of pulling for him a little bit this year, just to see, some of this hard work and additional efforts pay off for him this season.
That was so well said. I am just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I can't really add anything except that maybe I'm not necessarily pulling for him, but I definitely want to see what changes happen, and hopefully it'll work out, and maybe also a tiny bit of an attitude adjustment also.
Yeah, maybe for you too, it could be maybe not necessarily pulling for him, but maybe just hating on him a little less now that he's taking the coaching help.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, some of the Facebook, especially Facebook, I know this isn't surprising, the comments I saw were keyboard warrior level comments. So moving on, we'll round it out here with my pitfall. Williams Racing. They started out well this week with a decent livery. I don't love it, but I liked it. The driver suits are solid. But then they came out and said there are no fundamental concept changes on their 2020 car, despite a poor 2019. And I wanted to launch my phone out the window when I was reading this. You had probably one of the worst F1 seasons in modern F1 history. And you go, we don't really need to change anything major. I honestly, I don't even know what to say. I do know what I want to say, but it's not appropriate for the show. But it's really, really bad when you seem that clueless that you think, well, last year was bad, but we don't need to make major changes.
I mean, can we get an update on where their whittling department's at?
If it's not broke, don't wait a minute, but it is broke. I don't know.
He who finishes last shall finish first.
Except in F1 where you just
where
always
you
finish
still finish last. Yeah.
Just you wait. Maybe, just maybe, for 2021, they are like, because this year, if they're not going to do good this year, who cares? Because there's a new chassis coming next year. Maybe they're just putting all their resources into next year, and they're just George Russell's going to win the championship. Should that be my hot take for 2021?
If that happens, I will shave my head during an episode.
Can I also get $50?
Yeah, sure. I don't see that happening, and it is going to be another year of a lot of pitfalling of Williams racing. I don't even think I need to call that. That's not even like a warm take. That's probably a given. Anyway, thank you guys for listening again this week. I'm excited that we are now just a few weeks away from real IndyCar racing down in St. Pete. So unless there's anything else, doesn't look like it, Jess can go ahead and sign us off.
And guys, keep your lug nuts tight.